Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, and Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Hi, my name is Jennifer RABAGO-ROMAN, and I wrote Remembering My Real Life. I was born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland, but I was raised in Adelphi by my wonderful parents, Katharina and Eduardo Rabago. I also have an older sister, Uta, and a younger sister, Stephanie. I love poetry, and I grew to love it even more because, well, it's around us everywhere. What can we say? As long as poetry is telling a story, that's all that matters. I grew up as a normal child. Growing up, I played all the normal games, you know, like kickball and tag and just playing outside with my friends. And I had really good girlfriends growing up who were there for me. And I'm so proud to have them as my best friends. I went to school and loved going to school. I had normally straight A's, but I'm not trying to gloat. I did have a little bit of bullying, but I know I'm not about to give that away in the book. You have to read the book. Oops, sorry. So I just want you to take away from the book that you can resonate and have the same feelings that I do when you read from the book. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just a little nervous. What inspired me from the book? Well, I wrote this book because I wanted people to, you know, have good things from it and bad things from it. You know, God inspired me to write this book because without him, I wouldn't have been able to write this book. As you can see behind me, that is the real poetry book. And I grew to love poetry very much. I'm not naming any people who are in the book at all. Everybody knows what they've done to me. But I do love poetry very much. You can always grow to love poetry very, very much. And no matter where you are, you know, you can write poetry from it. Let's see. I'm sorry about that. I live now in Kissimmee, Florida. My inspiration sometimes can be, let's see, Fairgoer 665. Hello. Yes. Sometimes my inspiration can be beautiful landscapes and pretty anything. You know, when you go outside and you see a beautiful flower, that can be an inspiration to me, or a beautiful waterfall. That can be an inspiration to me. You know, anything can be an inspiration. Let's see, what else? Does anybody else have a question? Or let me think. What else can be what else is an inspiration to me? Flowers, the sky is an inspiration. The stars is an inspiration. People are an inspiration. When I meet beautiful people that have beautiful hearts, they're an inspiration. Some of my friends have been some of the most inspirations. That's why I'd have dedications to them in my book. They've had such wonderful, they've been there for me through some of the best of times that I had to give them dedications in my book. Like Jackie, she's been there for me through the best of times. And Sonia, she's been there for me too. And Swanee, she's been one of my best friends too. What can I say? I have really good friends. Yeah. And it's just really great when you have good friends. They're there to support you in the worst of times. You know, and I would want the same thing for anybody else as a person, you know. And all I would want for anybody else is to have really good feelings right now, because I would just want them to have really good feelings. You know, I want them to make a wish for them, to promise yourself, right, Jackie? And I want them to remember. I want them to have a friend like them. I want them to feel inside and look inside their souls and just try to be their true self and feel their true self and be who they want to be and be and go where they want to go and be happy and be their true selves. I'm sorry, I can't read there. I can't read the question. Oh, thank you. I appreciate your comment, Fairgoer 676. That is actually the cover of my actual poetry book. As you'd like to see, this is actually my poetry book. My dad gave me this when I was a child, when I was about 10 years old. See? And all of my original poems are written in here, as you see. See? And every time I had an inspiration or I was down or depressed, I would write my poems in here. So when I decided to write my poem, I would just write them in here. And after 30 years, finally, I took that decision to finally get my book published. So I told myself that I'm going to take this book and get it published. So this book is dedicated to my mom and my dad, who I love and adore so much. We don't want to let him. My bad. Sorry. When did I start writing poetry? Fairgoer 676? Well, I started writing poetry at a very young age. I started writing when I was probably about 11, and I kept writing when I was all the way through, all the way through childhood, kept going as in my teenage years, and just kept going, and I still write to this day. It's a never-ending, it's a never-ending way of writing, because it's a great way to put down your words if you can't really verbalize them on paper. And just, it's a way to journal, It's so, as long as the poetry is telling a story, that's all that matters. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, so then I will just tell you guys a little bit about poetry. Poetry, again, like I said, it's just a great way of journaling, and I would love it if people would be able to express themselves more verbally, but since they don't, it would be great if they wrote it down on paper. So since they can't, I just wish they would express it more. But I would love it if people could, buy my book, because it is a beautiful book, and it takes place in a lot of different places. It takes place in a person's heart, from a person's touch, watching a snowdrop, in a person's arms, with friends, from being outside on a special night, in the night, near water, in the moonlight. As you can see, it takes place in many different places, but I can't give away every place, because you gotta buy the book. So, do I have any other books, Angelica? Thank you for the question. No, I don't have any other books, but I am thinking about writing another one. So we'll see. Let's see. I'll go. What is my favorite book ever? Let's see. I would have to say my favorite book would probably have to be Maya Angelou, because she was, may she rest in peace. She was such a beautiful woman, and she spoke to so many people, and she was very spiritual, that she just expressed herself so beautifully, and spoke her mind with poetry, and through her words she touched so many people. And I believe I have her book. Let's see, but I don't think I can find it, because there's so many here. but there's a book by Maya Angelou that I have, and her book, it touched me very much. So her book is probably my favorite book. Let's see, what are my favorite poems? Fairgoer 693. Wow, that's a very big, broad question. Well, some of my favorite poems, I would have to say, are probably, wow, that's a pretty big question there. Let's see. Well, poetry is very big subject. So I don't know about that. Let me get back to you on that. Any favorite authors and poets? Yes, of course. Yes. Well, I studied poetry when I was in Valencia Community College. So I loved and read poetry when I was young, all the way up to when I went to Valencia Community College. So I read a lot of Robert Frost and Emily Dickinson and William Shakespeare and Dorothy Parker. So I don't know if I could pick just one, just one author or poet. There's so many. So I don't know if I could pick just one poet or author at all. So I'm sorry if I can't pick just one for you. Let's see. If I could probably have to pick one poet, it would probably have to be Emily Dickinson, probably. She's probably more my style. And a favorite poem is just too broad for me. Yeah. Poet, yeah, would be her. And an author, yeah, too broad for me. Yeah. I want people to be able to resonate with my book, since I want them to feel, wow, I feel the same exact way, because they're being able to resonate with the writing that I do. So I want people to read in my book that, wow, I'm going through the same exact thing that I've gone through. So yeah, this is the reason why I want you to be able to read the book and be like, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. So this is the reason why you should be just enjoying looking at the book and reading it and telling it to your friends and being like, wow, look at this. She went through the same thing, I'm going through the same thing also. What was my favorite memory as a child? Fairgoer 709. Let's see. Favorite memory. I think a favorite memory of mine when I was a child is when my dad used to take my sister and I on a Saturday. He used to take us to this beautiful park that was in down this street, and it was this beautiful park, and he would take us there, and they had the little roundy thing, and I would sit on it really, really tight, and I'd say, faster and faster, Daddy. And just spending that time with my dad was so awesome, because we were just spending such true, meaningful time with my dad. Just me, my dad, and my sister, because my dad worked so hard, and he was such a really good father. So I loved him for that. And going to that park, I loved going to that park because it was so really much fun. They had the real true fun things that kids love to do. The round little thing, they had the tire that you could sit on and swing on. They don't have those things anymore at parks. Now they have all these different things, so it's not the same anymore like they do at parks nowadays. Let's see. Plus, they also had he used to take us to another different park as well, and that was in Tacoma Park. And they had this big slide, And that park actually is what do you say? It's dedicated to one of my friends' grandfathers, as a matter of fact, to Wendy Rose's grandfather. Yeah, it's dedicated to her grandfather because her grandfather used to take all the kids to the park there, and he would play baseball with them there so that they would stay out of trouble, which was fantastic. And he actually got the park dedicated to him there, which was fantastic. That was such a great dedication to him, and it was so awesome. But that park was so much fun too. So he would take us every other Saturday to those two parks, and then another great Saturday he would also take us to a pony ride. So my dad was the best. He would take us to a pony ride. Oh, that was so much fun. Just love my dad. So do I plan on writing more Fairgoer 709? I'm hoping to, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see if there's going to be a Do I Remember My Real Life. If I do, I actually plan on entitling a book. It might be called, what was the book going to be called? I said, it's going to be called, what's a book? Give me a second. I'm trying to remember. Because it's where you see a picture, and I'm gonna like type what the picture is about, and you're gonna imagine in your head what the picture is about. So it's, the name of the book would be A Picture Says 1,000 Words would be the name of the book. So that's a really good question, but that's what I would name the book. So great question. Fairgoer 709. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Fairgoer 709. And what do I enjoy doing on my free time? Let's see. I enjoy singing because I love to sing, and I love to crochet. My mom taught me how to crochet when I was little. And well, of course, I do love writing poetry. Let's see. And I love to dance. What else? Oh, I love to cook very much. And I love to travel when I can. But that's been pretty difficult for the past 2 years since we've all had this virus. I love to spend time with my family when I can. And what else? I love to do research. Since I do have a master's degree in social work, I don't really do that anymore, but I do love to still read and keep my mind, informed of many things. So I do like to do a lot of research. What else? In my book, which poem is my absolute? Okay, which poem is my absolute favorite? That's a good question, Eileen. Which poem is my absolute favorite? That's a good question. I have a lot of poems in my book. If I had to pick one poem in my book to be my favorite, let's see. It would probably have to be the last poem in it. What is it called? It would be A New Beginning, dedicated to my husband, and the one entitled Mothers, of course, because I love my mom with all my heart, and without her, I would not be here. And also friends, because without friends, without my girlfriends, I would not have be here without them also. They've helped me gone through so much. So great question. And probably come up with the titles on my books. Oh, Fairgoer 676. That's a great question. Let's see. Excuse me for saying that so much. Again, I did it. Well, I come up with the titles on my books by trying to determine what I'm going through and the situation of what I might be seeing. You know, if I might be seeing some stars in the night, that's what I might entitle it. If I see moonlight, then I title it that. If I see, excuse me, if I see a snowdrop, I might entitle it that. If I see a lovely rose, then I title it that. So it just depends on what I'm seeing or who I'm seeing or who I'm with. It just depends on what I'm going to entitle my poem. So that's how I come up with the names for my poems, pretty much. Thank you. I love your comment. I appreciate that. I just hope that nobody would have to go through the things that I went through when I was younger, because I would never wish that upon anybody, because that was the reason to begin with why I started writing poetry, because I went through a very sad and traumatic event, and I would never want to wish that upon anybody, just to say that. But it's a great way, like I say, to start journaling. But I'm glad to say that I feel so much better, and I'm glad to be here with everybody and let everybody read my poetry, because you will love it, and it will open your heart, and you will just rise, and your soul will just open up, and you'll feel so loved. It's just amazing how you feel when you read my book. Your soul will just feel so uplifting. You'll be like, wow, I can't believe this. I never realized that this was inside of me. Wow, really? This is so phenomenal. With this girl, I can't believe that Jennifer made me feel this way, because I'm in the moment, and she's uplifted me just with her words. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. I just want to take the time to thank everybody that's been here with me today to share this moment. So thank you all for coming. And if you want to come see me again, I would love to have you all come and see me again. I'll be here later on this evening. I appreciate you coming to see me today. And I'll be here later this evening. And if anybody wants to come see me later this evening, I'll be able to answer any more questions anybody has then. Does anybody have any more questions? What is my writing process? That's a good question. Well, pretty much my writing process, I just sit down with my pen, and I just write down exactly how I'm feeling, because if I don't get it out, it doesn't come out properly. And if it doesn't come out raw, exactly how I'm feeling that moment, then it's not the for real feelings that I'm feeling. So that's 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 my writing process. I put it on paper, and then I put it to the side, and then I put it in my book, because I don't want to make any mistakes. Just hit you anyway. Yes, you could say that. Sometimes they do just hit me at that moment. You are correct. Thank you for that question. They do just hit me sometimes, depending on where I'm at, or if I'm with somebody, depending on on the way of how they're treating me. The best advice that I could give to somebody is live your life to the fullest. Don't let life pass you by. Enjoy life to its fullest and be true to yourself and be happy. That's what I can say. Thank you for that question. I appreciate that. Do you have any other questions at this time? No? Oh, I have to go for another half hour. I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, it's another half hour. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I did forget. It is another half hour. I do want to make the readers feel that, wow, you know, this is the kind of book that I want you to read. I want them to be able to connect with it. I want you to be able to go to different places when you read the book. So, yes, be with the book, connect with the book. This is how I want you to be. I want you to be able to resonate with it and have the same feelings in some aspect. I've been writing poetry ever since I was a kid, and I've always loved to write. I never knew I had such a talent to write. So I just embraced it and enjoyed it and took it on. And I love to write, and I just never knew I had that beautiful talent. So I take it and I write it and I hold it with love and I embrace it. So I wanted to share it with everybody. What can I say? That's the best that I can do. I don't know. I'm so stumped. I need a step. I apologize. Thirsty. Talk so much, you get dry. The book took me over It took me over 30 years of experiences, and the fact that I was bullied hard and had good and bad emotions, and lovely landscapes, horrible heartache, being depressed, experiencing a very traumatic event when I was young, and adding poetry that I was already written in my poetry book in about 1 month, and still try to submit it for consideration for publication. That's about how long it took me to get my book written. So it took me about that long to write my book. I appreciate your words. Thank you very much, Fairgoer 693. I wish that more people out there had more friends like I did, you know. I wish that they would pick up the phone a little bit more often, you know. Thank you for the question, 709. Majority of the time, writing my poetry got me through the hard times, and crying a lot got me through the hard times. Sometimes, and got my best friends, Jackie Street, and Sonia Bronder, and Swanee Gonzalez. They got me through my hard times. And Wendy Rose, they got me through my hard times when I needed to. I coped a lot, mostly through crying though, and writing my poetry. So it was really difficult, but I got through my hard times. I talked a lot with them, and sometimes we would do a lot of fun things because, you know, what are friends for? You know, they help you talk through it, through you know, coping. So what can you do but your friends try to make you feel better? That's how I mainly tried to cope. So I did my poetry, and I went to my best friends. They came to me to try to make me feel better. Wow, it's a very good question, Fairgoer 709. What I tell people right at this time, when people try to do that to me today, I tell them to please don't bully me. I tell them, don't do that to me. You're hurting me. You're hurting my feelings. You're hurting me. I don't want to be sad. And majority of the time also, I will write a poem about it. And yes, I do, unfortunately. Yeah, I do write a poem about it. I do write a poem about it. I hate to say. So yes, I can show you the book. It's right here beside me. It's behind me, and it's beside me. This is my book. Oh, I'm sorry. This is my book. It's called Remembering My Real Life by Jennifer RABAGO-ROMAN. It's a great book. It will totally inspire you. You will not regret buying my book. I totally I totally know that you will not regret it. And it's a very beautiful book. And this is just a clue in the book. It's showing you that there are angels around us all the time, and they're watching you. So make sure that you are on your best behavior. I hope that you like the cover. I sure do. I used it from the book that my dad gave me when I was little. Thank you, Daddy. And I love it. Oh. So I just wish, that more people in society today, that they were a little bit more nicer, and that they were more, how should I say, and that they were more vocal, and that they had better mannerisms, because if they did, that they wouldn't have to, buckle down. And thank you. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate that. But it would be much nicer, because people today in society, it just doesn't work anymore. People need to smile more and be happy with life. Yes, it is not a good time, but they should be more grateful for what they have, right? Yes. Be more happy, be more grateful. Be happy with yourself. Be loving with God. Be who you are. Connect with yourself. And you can do that with my book. You'll find by reading, and you know what you can do too is I even have a blog inside of my book. It's called Ways to Achieve Happiness. You can do that. So we can talk about that later in my other half, when I do this afternoon, are my ways to achieve happiness. But I'm not going to go into that now. I'm just telling you, we can do that later when I do my other half. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Most of the time, butterflies too are a representation of beautifulness and people that have moved on. And they can also bring on poetry. They're beautiful inspiration. And that's what my book does too. It can inspire you to do better things for yourself and for other people. Thank you for your comment, Fairgoer 715. And it can actually make you more gentle and kind, just like you say, Fairgoer 715. Some people, sometimes they're a little bit too harsh, and I'm sure you all can agree. And well, if you read, when you take the time to buy my book and read it, you'll be more genuine. You can be more true to yourself, and you can look inside your soul, and you'll just realize wow, I didn't realize that. I'm not really the person I used to be. I'm a better person now. Jennifer really opened up my eyes. I didn't realize that, because you know what? Jennifer made me realize that this is who I want to be. I want to be, a better person. I want to be, a nicer person. I want to be a more gentle person, like you say in your comment. I appreciate that. I want to be, more loving. I want to be whatever you want to be, that you're saying inside in your heart and in your soul. That's what you can get from reading my book. You'll realize that more inside of your soul, you'll get all of these beautiful emotions that are inside of you that you never realized were inside of you. You'll promise yourself, like Jackie says, that you'll do so much for yourself and for others, but you'll promise yourself to do so much because you want to do it for yourself. You'll promise to love yourself more. You'll promise yourself to be a better person. You'll promise yourself to, just be and do so much more. You'll achieve better goals. You'll reach for the stars. You'll just do so much more for yourself, and you'll be more accomplished. You'll be so proud of yourself, and you'll think, wow, I never knew I could do this. And you'll be like, wow, thank you, God. I can't believe I did it. Yes, I'm so proud of myself. Jennifer made me happy. She made me realize that I could do this just by reading her book. Wow, I can't believe it. Really? This book, she gave me such great influence in making me read this book that I actually had the confidence inside me that I never realized that was there. I mean, wow. I didn't realize that all of this was in me just by reading. I was here. I've been through this. I can't think of the word. I can empathize with this. There we go. I can empathize with this. Excuse me. I can empathize with this. I can connect with this. This is so me. Yes. Thank you. I want a friend like her. How can I get this? I feel the same exact way. How can I write like Jennifer? You know what? I'm going to take up journaling too. I'm going to do this. I want to find some friends too. This is what I need. I want to get to be as strong and confident like Jennifer is. How can I do that? Yeah, that's me. I want to be like Jennifer. I want to be sweet and kind and have those special nights. I want to watch snowdrops. I want to be in the moonlight. I want to, have a person's touch. You want to see it all. And you know what? You can see it all. You know why? Because it's all up to you. It's all up to you. And you can do it. It's all up here, and it's all up here. It's all in here. It's in your heart. Let's see. That's a good question. Well, what you can do is, why don't you try online? Why don't you try to have if you have a Facebook, you can create your Facebook. You should be able to have some friends on Facebook. If you don't, and you want to make some new friends, maybe you should be able to have, if you have some kind of a, let me think, if you have some kind of a hobby that you like, or some kind of an interest that you love to do, there's got to be other people that love to do it too. So if you try to find that, and with other people that like to do what you do, there's got to be other people that do. So try to find a group of people that like that in your community. Maybe if you want to be close, I don't want to say your full name, 29, for friends, if you want to meet them, or I don't know if you want to be close to them, or if you want to be like online for friends. Okay. So if you want to be close, I would suggest find them online and then meet them like outside and like that. Or you could meet them online in a community and talk online. You get what I mean? Okay. Or you could just do an online chat. Okay. So you could do either way, whatever you prefer. I hope that works for you. Do you have any other question? I hope I answered your question good enough for you. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Good, I'm glad, because it can be tough. I do know what you mean. I used to be that way, because it is difficult that way. I do understand what you're going through, because when I was bullied, I felt the same way. So it was very hard for me to make friends. So I used to be, very much to myself. So it was very hard for me to make friends. So I know exactly what you're going through. I empathize with you. So I would be very much alone. So I had no friends. So I know what you mean. I completely empathize with you. I'm very sorry. So that's what I mean. So I'm very sorry. I empathize with you. So yeah, try that. It should work for you. Good luck with that. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Okay. No? Okay. So, so when that tends to happen, we'll stay with that topic. For people that do, unfortunately, get bullied, I'll stay with that topic a little bit, and do have a problem making friends, because that was a hard topic for me when I was young. I'll stay with that topic, and I'll end with that. When I was young, I was bullied a lot, and it was very hard for me. It was a very difficult time for me when I was young. It was very, very difficult. And it's very touching and very hard for me to talk about. And I don't want to cry. I want to try and stay with my pretty smile. And it's very difficult, like I say. You know, kids have their cliques, you know, here and there and everywhere. But when you get bullied and you have no friends, you stay to yourself, and you're an introvert. You know, you stay up like this, and you don't know where to go. You don't know who to talk to, and you don't know what to do. So how do you make friends? And as you get older, it makes it even harder. So what do? Well, we cry. We cried us love songs. Sometimes we have nobody to talk to. We try to talk to people sometimes, but sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. Because people sometimes they just don't want to hear it. Sometimes we tend to write it down. I appreciate your comment, Fairgoer 667. Thank you. But when we're bullied and we're alone and we become introverts, it's very difficult. When we want to make friends, we normally make friends with people that have the same likes and dislikes. So that's what we need to do even as we become older. So the best thing for people to do is find the things that you like to do. If you like to sing, like I do, if you like to crochet, I like to crochet. If you like to write, like I do, I like to do research because my head, I have a little problem. Cuckoo. I'm not cuckoo, but I'm just a little joke there. Let's see what else. Anything you like to do. There's all different kinds of things. If you like to do gardening, if you like to do any sports, there's all kinds of things out there we can do. You might love to do cooking, if there's cooking, maybe you could do a cooking, cooking thing with in a restaurant or with somebody, with a group of people. There's all kinds of things. If you look on your Facebook, in the corner, there's a section that shows that there's different things in your community that you can do with people. So that's how you can find friends and find friends as a group. So that's how you can become friends and become more of an extrovert, and then become less of an introvert. So that's how you become less of being inside, and become more of an extrovert, and not be so hunked inside the house, and then be more outside. Unless you have problems, with your health, like with asthma, and different problems, then we're talking a little bit different. So I would just like to take the time, because we're going to be closing up now. I would just like to take the time to thank everybody who came today to watch me, because this was a great first hour, and I will be coming back later this evening to talk some more about ways to achieve happiness. So thank you for coming today to watch me, to talk a little bit about myself and a little bit about my book today. And we also spoke a little bit about how we can become more of an extrovert and be able to find friends. 1:05. I'm still doing. So yes, that's what I'm trying to do. So yes, thank you for everybody for coming. I'm going to be coming back later this afternoon. If you would like to see me again, I will be talking about different things. Like I said, on ways to achieve happiness, because it's in my book. It's in a blog, because I did 3 blogs. Excuse me, I did 3 blogs in the back of my book, in the that I have on the back, and in my website, which is where you can also purchase my book, which is www.rememberingmyreallife.com. And on my website, I have 3 blogs. One is depression, one is anxiety, and one is ways to achieve happiness. And I will be talking later on ways to achieve happiness. So if you would like to join me later, I will be talking later about the ways to achieve happiness. And if anybody else have questions for me then, you can ask me then about those questions if you were not able to see me here. Okay? Thank you for coming, and I appreciate you coming to see me. I appreciate you all, and thank you for coming today. Say goodbye. Goodbye.